This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Let's give it a 1 and a 2 and a 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to First Alert Weather Breakdown. Happy birthday to you. How about it? How about it? It's reached 1 year old. Thank you for joining me. I am First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason here in the Weather Center. It is a special day for the First Alert Weather Breakdown as it is our 1 year anniversary. We started this very podcast on this day last year in a little bit of a different setting, but hey, it has been the same podcast here that has now run for a year now to this day on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, thank you very much for joining us. Hey, pretty good graphic, right? Wish the best for many birthdays to come on this First Alert Weather Breakdown. It's a pretty cool tool for those of you that come often, for those of you that don't. Anyways, welcome on. This is what we do here, always kind of just vent about the weather nerd session. This is what I said in my social media post is kind of one of my favorite weather nerd things to do because it allows me to fully have my time, essentially, out to you guys and actually fully embrace and talk about everything, how weather works, why weather works, what it's doing, answering your questions, all of those things, all packed into one forecast here for you. So again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here. Thank you very much for joining us. Just, we had one more surprise here for the day today, but unfortunately that surprise is not happening today. Yes, tear, so sad. But anyways, first of all, thank you for those of you joining us on YouTube and on our KSLA.com live stream as well. I'll go ahead and spoil. We did have one more surprise today. We were going to bring on meteorologist CJ Cartledge, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, he is not in town. He's okay. He is okay. But he had some problems coming back on his trip, his last vacation. From somewhere else, essentially. He's had airplane delays. So he is not in town at all, but he's working his way back, and we're going to hope, I'm going to talk to him after this, but I'm going to hope that we can get both of us on tomorrow together. We haven't done that in ages. As of the last, 2 months ago, it's either been me or it's been CJ. We've kind of collectively done the podcast here solo, but I wanted to bring him on to do a dual weather breakdown. We haven't done that in ages. Again, unfortunately, he is not in town here for the day today, but we're going to try to do that again tomorrow. Essentially, what we're going to go over here for the day today to celebrate the 1 year anniversary, let's go over some cool moments, some flashbacks, some memories from the breakdown, and see the goals of where we see this evolving to. Where do we see this going? What do you guys want to see out of the First Alert Weather Breakdown? Those kind of things. You can also chat that on our YouTube page as well. Our YouTube live stream is running per usual. In addition to that, we actually do have a busy First Alert Weather Breakdown weather-wise to talk about. We're getting a stronger look at what's to come here out of the tropics as a storm could be brewing in the Gulf here soon. So we will have all of the details on that here on this First Alert Weather Breakdown episode. And because, unfortunately, that could impact the Arklatex here locally in the days ahead. So we got our big eyes on that. So not only is it the 1 year anniversary, but we're starting to hype up this system that's showing up in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf period. That looks a lot more impressive. Than what it did about even 48 hours to what you could say even 24 hours ago as well. We'll show you all the details on that here in just a moment. But let's go over the forecast first, and then we'll get into the celebration and the festivities, so to speak, of our 1 year anniversary. All right, jumping outside. Live look out on the downtown camera out into Shreveport. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine. The main theme here for the day today is enjoying sunshine. How about it? Just appeared on the first time for the First Alert Weather Breakdown anniversary. How about it? Again, we've had lots of sunshine in for the past several mornings. In fact, I don't even remember the last morning where we have had widespread rain around the Arklatex in the morning hours. It's been quite some time. But thankfully for this afternoon, we're sustaining our sunshine into that time frame. So that will be good to have. Good to have around, but it's going to come at a cost, and that's going to be the temperatures. We're going to get into all that a little bit later. Let's take a look at our other look, which features a a nice little friend there. Window World Sky Cam. If you look past the little shadow there, it is sunshine and blue skies. But hey, we have a visitor. How you doing? How you doing? I'm glad the bugs are out enjoying the humidity and sunshine as well. But that is a cool sight to see. I wonder what kind of bug that is. I'm not a bug person. I don't think that may be too big to be a mosquito, especially appearing on the camera there. But still pretty cool, especially that high up. This is on top of our tower in Texarkana here. Obviously, you can see kind of the layout of the land there with the trees being so small in the camera. So this bug, he's traveled a long way up to say hi to the people here on the first Solar Weather Breakdown. Maybe celebrating the birthday. I don't know. But I appreciate any and all viewers that do come along. I really do. Anyways, let's get into the weather headlines here for the day today. It is hot and it is sunny. That's overall the theme here, not just today, but the next several days, all the way through Thursday. We pretty much maintain this pattern that starts today. Again, we fully knock out our wet weather. We're not having that anymore around the Arklatex here for your day today. On top of getting the sunshine out all day, though, we got hot temperatures. They're expected to exceed and essentially grow here by about 5 to 10 degrees here over the next day or two, essentially. So, yes, we're talking temperatures even hotter than what we've been seeing over the past couple of days. The only thing that was keeping us just the tiniest bit cooler was rain, which is coming back here for the weekend. But I did want to put a tropical symbol with that wet weather because most of that wet weather is going to be coming from the tropics. And tropical moisture is a different, deeper type of moisture that could be giving us a more substantial chance of heavier rainfall in for this weekend. So we're going to keep you first alert about that and let you know the timing of that and all the details surrounding it coming up. But let's get to temperatures first. As I kind of always say, temperatures are a little more of the easier part of the forecast here, so we always go over that first and foremost. Temperatures around the mid to upper 80s currently out the door. 86 in Shreveport, 88 in Texarkana. Feels like we're already in the mid to upper 90s, though. It's already feeling like 101 in Idabel. Now, keep in mind, that's the feels like temperatures. Again, the highs today are expected to roll about 10 degrees higher than where they are now. So it's just going to continue to climb, and in the process of doing so, that's climbing the feels like temperatures. You better believe that, whether or not you like it. So it feels like temperatures around 110 for this afternoon. It is going to be brutal here for the day today. That's the biggest change here over the next 3 days, is dealing with this immense amount of heat all around the Arklatex. This continues into Wednesday afternoon, even continues into Thursday afternoon too. So overall, 3 days, we maintain this heat. We maintain the sunshine, again, which continues at least all the way through Thursday. Starting on Friday and rolling into the weekend, again, those feels like temperatures really take a big dip down. And most of that is because of what is happening in the other department, which is the rain. Now, for now, again, our theme here for today and the next few days is us clearing out all the wet weather, which is good to see. We did have a few storms out early this morning across the northern edge of the Arklatex, but now all that system has moved up into southern Missouri, essentially, and now we're pretty much completely dry. None of the wet weather in central Texas is much of a problem for us here today, or the next few days, for that matter, as well. But we do want to keep you first alert and have your eye on the tropics, because we got some big tropical problems happening there. Here is our system that we're watching. This is currently in Florida, off the east coast of Florida, technically about to make quote-unquote landfall, if you would. Technically, it's not landfall because it's not a tropical system yet, but overall, it's a low-pressure system with a bunch of circulating moisture and convection all around it. So I'm actually going to remove my face here so you can see the full outskirts of the system. And this already looks impressive, even though this is not a named storm at all. This is, as I said, quite impressive because the main area of circulation is right around here. And as I said earlier, it's technically making quote-unquote landfall with a bunch of storms circulating immediately right around it, just south of Jacksonville. This is going to cut westward. You can already kind of see that on the IR satellite loop just a little bit. You can see several of the convective storms on the back side of this, on the east side, though. And you can also see kind of the tail end wrapping all the way around the system. The tail end is almost reaching as far as New Orleans and southern Louisiana, kind of going to the size of the system already. So if I zoom out, I mean, you can see that this is already quite an impressive system. Now, it doesn't have a closed circulation. It doesn't have strong winds with it either, which is why it's being hindered to only a standard low-pressure system and not a named tropical system at all. But it's impressive that it has all this convection, which is kind of taking up the eastern half of the Gulf and essentially all around the state of Florida. Florida is expected to be a mess here for the day today as this system crosses over westward. For those of you in Florida or traveling to Florida, it's, as I said, going to be swampy, going to be rainy all day long there. Meanwhile, let's talk to you about what's to come out of this system. We have a high-pressure system all across the East Coast. Now, this has been delivering us our daily storm chances here, but the problem is this low-pressure center, which is just off to the east side of the Florida Peninsula, is going to be westward, which is kind of a weird direction for this system to go, and the situation it usually is in would go up northward. But the problem is, again, there's a high-pressure system which is continuing to rotate in this direction, as you can see with the arrows. Clockwise rotation always belongs to high-pressure systems. Now, this is going to move this system westward. Tropical systems, any of them, even large major-scale hurricanes, are very susceptible to what's going on in the grand scheme of things. And in this case, the main driving factor in this storm is this high-pressure system, again, which is giving us winds to the west, pushing westward. So this low-pressure center is going to be moving essentially due west across the Florida Peninsula and into the northern end of the Gulf, which could make it legitimately develop. Now, again, for now, in Shreveport and Arklatex, nothing here locally, nothing here for the next few days, but we are watching out for that area of interest to have a 40% chance of developing here over the next few days, over the next 2 days or so, essentially, in the northern Gulf and the end of the Gulf of Mexico before it makes its second, quote-unquote, landfall, which isn't going to happen for a while. Again, those westerlies are pretty prominent here, especially in these spaghetti models. Now, we don't have a traffic cone, but we don't have a forecast cone yet. Forecast cone officially comes out once the storm is named. Again, this is a non-named storm, but since it is a tropical invest is what they call it, an invest, which is essentially they're investigating this low-pressure center, which is in the tropics. They always give it spaghetti models, and spaghetti models mean different weather models that track onto where this storm could go. So essentially, these are different models that are trying to hint at where this storm could go. One of these has the storm essentially just almost making landfall in Florida right now, quote-unquote, and never appearing back again in the Gulf, essentially. That would be fantastic, especially for us. But unfortunately, the bulk of all of these lines here in spaghetti models have pinpointed the storms, first of all, going through the Gulf, the northern end, which could strengthen the system, also helps it to bolster itself up and maintain more prominent circulation around it. Then it's going to make its second landfall, according to most of these other models, it makes landfall somewhere around Louisiana. And if you look even further, this would have it curling up into the Arklatex even. One of these models even has, as I said, has the system curling up into the Arklatex into northern Louisiana, yes, which would affect us with lots of torrential rain, sadly. That's what we're going to keep you first alert about in the time ahead. Now, let's look at the tropical future track. Overall, we're just expecting a huge blob circle of wet weather. What take it what you will. Essentially, you don't want to see what you see here, which is these big red shades indicating a huge mass of scattered showers, which could give us some areas of flash flooding and some big problems in that area overall. Now, this is going to hit southern Louisiana first and foremost, as we kind of just mentioned with the spaghetti models. It looks like this is hitting along the Gulf Coast, around New Orleans, Lafayette, and Lake Charles, somewhere around there, with still lots of buckets of heavy rain. Now, I do want to remind people as well, the last two tropical systems that we've had in the Atlantic period have done some damage. What damage, Evan? Well, Barry, the remnants of Barry, is exactly what caused the Texas flooding that's so infamous still to this day. With still all the search, with all the rescue effort, with all the search efforts going on there. Chantal delivered flash flooding into North Carolina. Now, not as groundbreaking of a story there, mainly because thankfully, wasn't a number of fatalities with that system, but still provided some huge flash flooding levels in the areas of North Carolina. The point is, we've already had massive flash flooding issues from huge surges of tropical moisture coming on shore, and this could be another one of them. So again, this is especially the biggest issue for areas of southern Louisiana and a big rainmaker around there. But as we mentioned by the spaghetti models, this is looking to crawl further northward and could be reaching the Arklatex with scattered showers here for essentially Friday afternoon at the earliest is what it's looking like, the time frame. And this is going to roll into your Saturday plans as well, hitting on Saturday night with a few leftover showers potentially in store for Sunday and Monday. But essentially, still a lot yet to be determined. As we saw with the spaghetti models, this could still meander in several different directions. But if this does hit, and if this does strike the Arklatex, first of all, we could expect one, torrential rainfall and a big flash flooding concern around here locally. Again, could. I want to emphasize the word could. Still, I got to wait for some time to see exactly where this is going to end up going and see if we get the weather models and the spaghetti models on a little more of a consensus to see, again, where this system is exactly going. But as of right now, it's not looking that great for the Arklatex, which, again, could get substantial chances of storms here between Friday night to Saturday. That's the two kind of time frames we're watching out for and keeping you first alert about. So, again, if this does hit, it would hit on Friday and Saturday. Unfortunately, yes, again, just in store for the weekend. So you got the next 3 days of dry days and dry weather to enjoy, but fortunately, after that, it's looking quite bad. Last thing I want to get to before we get to the 7-day forecast here for you is just the rainfall totals. Now, I want to show you first southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, most of those areas getting as much as 5 to 7 inches of rain, and that's all along the I-10 corridor from like Lake Charles all the way over to New Orleans. And obviously, a good amount of this moisture surges northward. For now, it appears as if, and this makes sense, the greater rain totals are going to be into the southeast corner of the Arklatex, because it seems like if this system is going to miss us at all, it's going to miss us off to our east and hit more towards Monroe and Mississippi, which would be beneficial to us. The issue is if this somehow rolls further westward, this is going to be more of an issue for us, because you can see how much of a fine line there is between, say, 4 inches of rain in Monroe, which is predicted, and Alexandria, which is predicted, to the only half inch of rain that is expected only in Shreveport as of right now, which is still a rainy day regardless. The pop-up afternoon storms that produced about a half inch of rain every afternoon. So we're still looking at rain regardless for areas like Nacogdoches, Shreveport, and some pockets of southwestern Arkansas. But it looks like the bulk of this, especially around Natchitoches, getting so far projected as of right now, around 2 inches of rain, if not 3, from this system. So Natchitoches is kind of the mainly targeting your kind of area, and that's where we're mainly keeping you first alert and watching all about. So again, one more time on the 7-day forecast. If this rainfall does hit, it would hit on Friday and Saturday with a few leftover showers potentially into Sunday and Monday. But overall, next work week is looking dry, like the bulk of this work week is too. Nice and dry here at least through Thursday. Could get a brief pop-up shower from Thursday from what could be coming here for Friday and Saturday, but overall next 3 days looking nice and dry. Highs are up to 100 degrees as a result. Again, it's going to be brutal hot over the next 3 days until that rain comes in and cools us off just a little bit here in time for the weekend. All right, thanks for watching the local forecast. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to go over 1 year anniversary. First start with a breakdown. We're going to go over kind of some memories and see what we can look forward to in the days and weeks ahead. I'll give you some previews of other exclusive content we're trying to do and other goals I have in mind for this podcast. Again, we'll have all that coming up in a quick segment after this. Thank you again for watching First Alert with a breakdown, not just now, but over the past year, especially for those of you that have been watching consistently with us here at KSLA News 12. I'm just honored to be the host of this, at least one of the hosts. Again, CJ Cartledge would have loved to be here for the day today, but he sadly is not. I think for tomorrow, I'm going to talk more about the whole 1 year anniversary here more in just a second, but I think for tomorrow, we should have CJ on the First Start with a breakdown, so that'll be cool to get his thoughts on what the 1 year anniversary means to him. But for me, it's just something I don't even consider this a chore. I consider this something fun I do, and I just love doing it. Now I love doing my job. Period. Yes. But this podcast in particular, I just get to do so much more. I get to explain a lot more. I get to go into so many more different graphics rather than just having a select few that I only have time for, essentially. It just allows me to go above and beyond for you guys and get you all the content you need especially for those of you that do want it and are actively seeking it, essentially, around the region. So, again, we go into the how, what, where, and why, especially the how. How does things happen? I don't have too much of time to really break it down for you in the typical news show. Occasionally, I do like doing it. I still love doing it, but, again, I don't give it the time it entirely deserves, so to speak, especially when it comes to a system like this, because this is wild. You can talk about anything from spaghetti models to where it is, to what's the impact for the Architects, to everything with the area of interest that's targeting the Gulf right now. I realize I didn't even call it anything. If that system were to be named, its name would be the D name, which is Dexter. Dexter is next up on the list, as in the show, yes. But anyways, it's been an amazing year around First Alert Weather Breakdown. We've done so many segments, from Met Chats to Tropic Looks, like today, to interviews, to science explainers, to astrology forecasts, to, I mean, We've done so much, a wide range of things going on over the past year. We've also moved. This whole podcast studio has been, I think, up for, I want to say somewhere in the ballpark of 6 months. I think we spent 6 months in the other location with just a TV monitor background, and now we just have a full virtual set desk behind me, which is pretty cool to enjoy. We've had that. We've had guests sit down in the other chair as well, which I don't have. I'm going to try to get this out for you, let you know that there's nobody sitting there. But essentially, I mean, we can go ahead and just go to the camera right now. We've had people sitting in this chair that's directly across from me. It obviously, again, not active here right now, but that's been a fun thing for us to do, is to have guests here in person. I'm going to try to work on that a little bit more and work on interviews a lot more. Something I'm actually actively trying to do is to reach out to one of the meteorologists around Austin, Texas, and seeing how his experience was, and give us some more information about some of the Central Texas flooding breakdown that happened around there. I think that's be really cool. I love to connect with different people, especially outside of the Architects, that we can bring into this First Alert Weather Breakdown. I can specifically talk with us on just a podcast level, and just kind of go over experiences and share weather info, essentially, and share weather knowledge, because I always think two brains are better than the power of one, especially here when it comes to the weather field overall. And I know most of our shift is kind of alone. You know, most newscasters, reporters have fellow reporters, producers helping them out. But, well, I mean, I still work trust me, I still work as a team. I still work as a whole team, part of KSLA News 12. But there's only one weatherman here, usually on shift at a time, especially here for the day-to-day. So, yeah, obviously, if anything arises, then we try to get 2-3 people into the office to work a kind of severe weather day. But besides that, yeah. We like to branch out. That's what I'm trying to get at, essentially. So I'm going to work on interviews. I'm also going to work on seeing if we can get some different science explainers as well. I think I love the two of those things together. I think would be absolutely phenomenal. I think the third thing as well, working on getting more national news when it comes to weather. For example, there was flash flooding last night all across the Northeast, torrential flash flooding. One of those areas in New York City, especially in the subway stations. We received word of some flash flood emergencies, essentially, which is a step up from the typical flash flood warning. And that happened in Central Virginia earlier today as well. So essentially getting you national weather headlines, getting you some interviews to talk to some of these people that are especially dealing with these more national disasters. And the reason why we also tailor to talking about this on First Alert Weather Breakdown and giving its attention is for family members. I mean, not all your family specifically, or especially mine. I'm the only person living in Shreveport and in the Architects. Obviously, everybody has tons of family members that are outside of the Architects, so we always want to keep you first alert about, taking care of uncles, aunts, grandparents, children, anything of that matter. Not just here in the Architects, but watch out for what's going on national weather-wise. And essentially, we were able to bring you that story about Central Texas flooding, which has now impacted the community, and it has kind of led into several movements, which I really appreciate. Several movements to help those in need going through a really difficult time. And essentially, I just want First Alert Weather Breakdown to be a weather outlet for national news, for answering your questions. I think that's one of the most important things, because I could go up on the news and talk so long about what the weather's going to do and not do, but what I don't get on your typical TV show is time to answer your questions, time to specifically hear from you guys. What do you want me to talk about? First Alert with a breakdown. That's what we're here about. And this has been ongoing for a year strong. I appreciate those of you who have been tuning in every single day. I appreciate those of you that have tuned on for the first 5 seconds and have been like, what is this? Any and all viewers, I'm really thankful for here at this time. So thank you. Thank you. That's it for this episode of First Alert Weather Breakdown. For tomorrow, we're going to have meteorologist CJ Cartledge on. All right. I'll try to be on with him, and we're going to kind of tag team and see if he has any ideas for the year anniversary of Weather Breakdown. I know technically the year anniversary was for today, and again, he would have loved to make it for today, but he will definitely be back here tomorrow. Definitely. We'll see how it goes then, essentially. All right. Thank you for joining First Alert with a Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Thank you again so much for watching this episode. If you have any comments, questions, those kind of things, you can, outside of this episode, you can always shoot me a message on Facebook, meteorologist Evan Thomason. Feel free to just send it on one of my posts. I don't check direct messages that much, so check one of my posts. You can also check my Twitter account if you do have that, or X, if that is more of your forte, whatever works best. So anyways, thanks for joining it. Happy first birthday to the First Alert with a Breakdown. Again, happy birthday. Thank you for doing all that you've done. Especially thanks to you guys. Again, I can't thank y'all enough. So anyways, cheers to another year, another 2, maybe more. Let's see how long we can make this running. I think this is a really cool program, and I just described again all kind of the impacts that I hope are sustained on this First Alert with a Breakdown that we can give to you guys content-wise each and every single weekday. We're off on the weekend, but every single weekday we'll strive to do that every day at 10:30. We'll be back again tomorrow, 10:30. Meteorologist CJ Cartledge should be your host then. If not, I'll be on. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I still got to work things out with him, but I'm hoping he can be on to also give, as I said, his kind of words about how the first year of the Weather Breakdown has been for him. So, yeah, appreciate y'all again. If you're just tuning in, lastly, I'll say this: if you're just tuning in, always any of the episodes are down on our First Alert Weather Breakdown tab. You just click on podcasts, then you click on First Alert Weather Breakdown. You go to our website or go to our app. Click on podcast, then you click on the First Alert Weather Breakdown tab, and then all recorded episodes. All these episodes are recorded, and they're shown up there, so guess what? You can watch on your own time. You can watch on your own time. I know weather develops, weather changes, but if you always want the full First Alert Weather Breakdown, that's where to find it. Full 30-minute episode, typically. We went a little over this today, but that's fine. We went a little over to celebrate. A little encore for today's concert, essentially. Anyways, thanks for joining. I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Have a great rest of your day. Happy first birthday to the First Alert with a Breakdown. Enjoy the sunshine, at least for the next 3 days. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you again tomorrow. Be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. See ya.